Hi, this is Arika Yamada, and welcome back to the Aha Room. I am a high performance coach, and I work with artistic leaders, performers, high achievers, and creative minds to avoid burnout by owning their unique identity so that they can perform at their best. Because I truly believe that no one can do you better than you. So today I'm going to let you in on a little secret that most of you probably don't know about me. And that is the biggest mistake that I've been making for the past 12 years. But before I continue, the first thing you need to know about me is that I kind of go through life with that cartoon image of the angel sitting on this shoulder and a gremlin sitting on this one. And I call this one Sabotage Debbie, aka Debbie Downer. And I call this one the Yes and Angel. So now I'm going to take you back to when I was at the Juilliard school. So Juilliard is kind of like the Hogwarts of dance. It has a long history of excellence in the arts and naturally breeds high achievers. From elementary school to high school, at my dance school in a little small town near Detroit, I was always one of the best. But at Juilliard, I was surrounded by the country's most talented dancers. And in the beginning, I was thriving off of the idea that I was one of them. But keeping up with that high standard and expectations, it starts to get harder and harder when the real work begins and the high wears off. So, for example, if I wasn't casted in a piece or the piece, we all know what that means, or I didn't get a feature role, or even in class, if I wasn't acknowledged by my professor, I would make it mean that I wasn't good enough, which became Sabotage Debbie's message whenever I was feeling a little down or a bit vulnerable. So I got into my dream school, but after graduating, I didn't get into my dream job. So I assumed that I was a disappointment to my parents, to my teachers who put so much into me. And I felt like I was a failure. So even though I did end up getting a great job in New York, I wasn't at my dream job. So I danced painfully hard as if I needed to prove that I was good enough. I was exhausted. So I quit everything and I ran away as far away as I could from New York, all the way to LA. I didn't want to be asked to create anything, and I didn't want any kind of responsibility to be my former creative self. So I changed my identity and got a new passport, just kidding, and became a housewife who went to Bed Bath & Beyond 3 times a day. And I thought maybe if I became a good housewife, I feel like maybe I'm good enough. But even at Bed Bath & Beyond, I'd still be listening to Sabotage Debbie saying, "Is this the right color bath mat? What does this duvet cover say about you?" Or, "Are you sure this choice isn't boring?" And even though my yes angel came along with me and held my coffee, I couldn't hear what she had to say because Debbie over here was so chatty and she made me miserable. And it wasn't until a series of miraculous events and a few phone calls that got me back into the dance world, which landed me at one of the world's leading contemporary dance companies in the world, where I am now. And you'd think that was my happily ever after, but it wasn't. Because by then I've had a lot of years with Sabotage Debbie, and her whispers became so loud that I started to believe that I'm not good enough. I had the dream job, but I still doubted my worth. Especially if I wasn't casted in a piece again. If I was casted in the second cast instead of the first. Or when my ideas weren't acknowledged by my peers or the choreographer. Or when my partner broke up with me. Can you guess what happened after operating in this way for a few years? I burnt out again. So, what does a burnout look like? Well, for me, I was walking around from one studio to the other like a vacant zombie. I was empty and felt like I had nothing to offer. To dance, let alone to create, was excruciating. I retreated from my friends and family and didn't want to show up at social events. I wanted to be completely invisible. It was hard for me to leave my apartment. And eventually, I was having panic attacks to go to work, and especially if I had to step into the studio. So, what was the biggest mistake that I've been making all these years? Well, listening to Sabotage Debbie over here again and again, when so much more is possible when we listen to the yes and angel. And I realized that this I'm not good enough story that's been following me around from school and well into my career, it just wasn't serving me anymore. I was exhausted and so fed up. So I searched for a better way of being because there must be another way, right? Because why are we at the apex of our career still doubting our worth? How can creatives work hard on their craft yet sustain their passion? Now, I held on to these questions and I took time with it. I went in and went through quite an unexpected transformation that literally changed my life. I found incredible tools that unlocked new insights that not only changed my relationship with myself, but shifted the world around me. I saw things differently. And I also started to see people around me differently too. I can never unknow these valuable insights. And there was no way I was going to go back to my old ways. And I want to share these tools with you because when you master them, you will stop seeking external validation and truly, wholeheartedly believe that you are good enough. You will express your authentic self so you can always have access to your innate creativity. You will, by choice, let go of those old stories so that are actually holding you back so you can create a world that you actually enjoy living in. You will also rediscover your passion so you can find lasting fulfillment in your artistry. So these key foundations is what I use with my one-on-one clients. I partner with them to stop listening to the disempowering, unproductive thoughts so that they can avoid burnout by owning their unique identity so that they can perform at their best. So if you want to learn more about how to perform at your best and to create from a place of love and compassion for yourself, then we can work together one-on-one so that you can get personalized attention to your specific needs. You can go to my website right now and book a session with me for a 45-minute complimentary discovery call so that you can get an idea of what it's like to work with me and we can see if we are a good fit for one another. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. And before I sign off, remember that no one does you better than you. And being your authentic self is actually what's going to make you successful at what you do. Take care and see you next time.